Well, hello peeps, we're continuing the series where I show you how to get your elite transmog by reaching 1800 in the Soul Shuffle. Since it is a new season, we will go over all the necessary steps to accomplish this goal. This video might have additional parts as the season changes or new builds come out, so stay tuned for that. First things first, you want to farm out your honor gear. It's time to pop the cherry and hit the BGs. If you got bloody tokens, get some world PvP items. Do save some tokens for Trophy of Strife items. Then do as much PvP weekly quests for that first bit of conquest and Trophies of Strife for your first epic pieces. I do want to note that world PvP items only really matter in the early weeks of the season, and in time we will be in full conquest and crafted gear. Now Solo RPGs aka Battleground Blitz is out with 10.2 and Blizz is heavily endorsing it by giving it quite a few PvP quests. While things are as they are, it is really a good way to get both conquest and honor. I also really never make suggestions when it comes to how you spend your conquest, but since it's already after week 2, getting your 2 set is quite a good idea if you need help reaching 1600, since at 1600 you can get a token for a free tier piece. Now that acquisition is out of the way, I will shotgun you with the rest of the info. Mastery overall, but some haste is good. I probably got more than most since I am playing arms as well. Crafted items, I went for boots, and I'm thinking of getting a new dream embellishment somewhere with my next craft, probably shoulders. I do want to note that realistically, all you need is your honor gear, enchants, and a single crafted item to start some soul shuffle. And don't worry too much about gear in the early weeks. Talents. So for Fury, this time around, it's not so cookie cutter. We have this build. Of course, if you're a new player, I advise you to go and read every single point to understand why we're taking what. This is the build I would be playing currently, but as we go into the 4th set, we might be going away from spamming Raging Blow as much and maybe doing some more Bloodthirst. The real thing will come when the patch hits. I might have that like pop up. We're actually having quite a few buffs, and none of them are on Bloodthirst. All of them are tied to Annihilator, Raging Blow, Crushing Blow, the biggest buff, 20%. So unfortunately, I definitely think we're gonna be running still some build like this. Even though like you would really want to get that Odin Fury down, with just spamming Bloodthirsts, I don't think it's gonna be possible. I think we're just gonna be using those buffed Bloodthirsts, and then after that we are just gonna be fitting in a Bloodthirst here and there. Another optimization that we can do is hack and slash into Bloodgraze. And now this again is something that might be better with the 4th set. Currently I just like hack and slash better just because I'm spamming Raging Blow every time I'm in my normal sustained rotation. So outside of my burst, so I just feel like it's a lot more consistent than like Bloodgraze, which is really good, just meant to supplement the 4th set, which I don't have at the moment anyways. So for me, Bloodgraze is just not the option. I prefer hack and slash. Vicious Contempt can actually be swapped around to here to get some AoE, some cleave, or even like swapped here if you want to play single-mounted Fury, but I just personally think you lose some like kill power, even though it's like a very rare, like this talent only comes into effect when the target is in 35% HP, right? I still feel like this talent is, when it happens, it's gonna be very powerful, right? It's gonna really like give you some extra finishing power that you don't have usually. Now I'm just gonna show really quickly the other build, like that we would play something like this, right? Without, of course, single-minded Fury. But I just don't think it feels as smooth as before. To me, it's there's like no benefit really to playing it over Raging Blow, or how would you say, Onslaught. I feel like, yes, you have more buttons to press, but your buttons feel a lot better than just spamming Bloodthirsts, right? Bloodthirsts are just weaker than Raging Blows, and with the new buffs, I feel like they're gonna be extra weaker. So I just felt like I had to explain why I'm still sticking with this build, even though some people might be going towards Annihilator or towards a build that spams Bloodthirsts. Moving on to the warrior side, there's only like one optimization here in the points. You can also take this point out, and get the Shattering Throw here. That is it. I would not be moving anything else around. Bitter Immunity, I don't think it's good, and any other talent, I just don't feel like it's worthwhile. Maybe Honed Reflexes, taking like a point out and trying to get like Honed Reflexes, right? But otherwise, really like just stick with this. PvP talents, this time around I'm just gonna go through all of them, like which ones I think are meme, which I think are good. We'll start from the top. That sentence, meme, I don't think this is, you're gonna run this maybe versus like caster comp or something like that when you don't know what to run else, but like otherwise, yeah, never. Barbarian as well, quite a meme in my opinion. It doesn't have, like maybe in duels and stuff, it has like some kind of usage, but it really like in most situations in arena, you're just gonna want to run something instead of this. It might be good for like warlocks who might be trying to, you know, portal gate, you know, things like that, but otherwise I just don't feel like it has like actual usage. If it was like an extra charge on your a heroic leap, it would be a very good talent, but yeah, as it is right now, I mean, now Battle Trance is actually a good personal defensive talent, kind of greedy talent. I don't run it that much anymore, but whenever I see an opportunity, whenever I'm fighting like double melee and stuff like that, I'm like the target, I am definitely going for this. You definitely lack survivability this patch around, and everything is nerfed by dampening or anti-heal for you, so even this is nerfed by dampening and anti-heal, but still, it's like a small nudge right forward. Blood Rage, I mean, just get out of roots, always. Like, yeah, just run this into hunters and mages and stuff, especially if you're not a gnome like me, right? You just get out of roots. Enduring Rage, meme, not with the amount of, just amount of enrage things we have, so I just don't feel like it's a need. Deathwish, meme for battlegrounds, right? You're not gonna run this in actual PvP, you're gonna get destroyed usually, probably. Yeah, Master and Commander actually could be comboed with a Battlefield Commander. I just don't think most of the times you're gonna be doing this, because there's usually something else that's more useful. And now we're coming to the really like the big hitter, Disarm. I mean, it just disarms, it can nullify an entire burst of a melee class, even like marksman hunters as well, so really, really, really big. You know, run this every time you don't have anything else that you like is better, like Battlefield Commander or something like that. In that situation, Slaughterhouse is your anti-heal, and in my opinion one of the worst in the game, just in the way it functions. Even though it can, if you're like sitting on a target, real like, how would you say, it would have the biggest throughput if you're just like sitting on a target, but realistically that rarely happens, right? So Slaughterhouse is just, in my opinion, you're gonna be running it like most of the time, but I don't like it. I don't like it. So anytime that I see I have an anti-heal on my team, I always try to take it off. That is my, how do you say, opinion. Demolition only if you're running like Shattering Throw, right? Warbringer is now actually pretty decent as far as like a bonus to your DPS, but I just find that I run the defensive talents and some, you know, other talents much more, you know, or you have to have Slaughterhouse, you know, or you have to have like, as we're gonna talk about, Safeguard. But first let's talk about Rebound. I mainly use this versus Elemental Shamans to confirm the static link, like that you're getting out of the static link, because sometimes you can kind of you know, you do spell reflect, and literally in the same moment somebody's casting a spell on you, and instead of like getting rid of the static link, it does the wrong thing. Also good versus like Destro Warlock and like some other niche situations, but generally a niche talent. Safeguard is, I think, the biggest thing, especially for I don't know. It honestly, I've changed my opinion. I should have maybe said it in my arms guide, but yeah, Safeguard is just, yeah, the talent is gonna save so many people so much, and yeah, not much to say, right? And it also gives you added mobility, and yeah, really, really pog talent. And on Fury, I run it like all the time, unless I see that I'm gonna be the target, right? And then I go for something like Disarm. Battlefield Commander, just again for Fury, doesn't have like super good talents compared to Arms, so like Storm of Destruction is a super meme on Fury, so Battlefield Commander is just an okay option. It also makes your Intimidating Shout become, how would you say, a win condition, because if like the healer trinkets the first Intimidating Shout and you get the second one, yeah, that's a win condition right there. So it's really a good, I just love the talent for its like utility stuff that it gives as well, right? Like Piercing Howl, roots, you all of a sudden have a root. The Rallying Cry gives movement speed and removes movement impairing effects, giving you another way to get out of roots and just be faster. Thunderous Roar, dealing more damage, just bad, but whatever, you know, it's all of these. I just really love this talent, especially on for Fury. Now we come to the most important part in my opinion, which is training yourself for PvP. The basic being your burst and sustained rotations. You want to train these by going to my best friend, the Target Dummy. It might sound silly, but the most important thing is to have your damage come out without thinking, so you can focus on the game. It's also solo shuffle, and being a big pumper will give you great success. Moving on to your sustained rotation, which for Fury is simple. Rampage and utility spells to spend Rage, Onslaught, into Crushing Blow, into Execute, into Raging Blow, into Bloodthirst, into Whirlwind Priority. Actually, it's a bit more complicated than usual, but it's no problem, and Bloodbath only matter once we talk about our burst damage. Moving on to the mini burst rotation, charge in, get your Rage up, stun into Rampage, Odin's Fury, Bloodbath, Onslaught. Continue with the altered sustained rotation until you spend your Bloodthirst buffs. Reverting back to the standard rotation, prioritizing Crushing Blow. Not much to add, you're just trying to do your biggest global sequentially. The full burst rotation can be done immediately after charging in or after you fight a little bit. Charge in, Avatar plus Wreck into Dragon's Roar, Odin's Fury, Rampage, Bloodbath into your altered sustained rotation. Now, if for some reason you did Bloodbath into Rampage, it will unsync the Bloodbaths with the Reckless Abandon buff. In these cases, you can Raging Blow twice or Whirlwind first, then Bloodbath, Raging Blow into Rampage. You basically want a damaging global that is not Bloodbath before Rampage to keep it synced up with the Reckless Abandon buff. This will mainly happen if you fought first and are trying to maximize on your Bloodbath casts, or just an honest mistake. Racist? Are you racist? I'm not. That's why I never talk about this. But then I ask you, do you hate the roots? Then go for down! Now, how do I feel currently about Fury? I think Warrior in general got some good stuff, but for Fury it really is the tier set that shines and gives it a lot more on-demand damage and a lot more frequently than before. The downside is the fact that unironically I feel squishier in the Soul Shuffle bracket on Fury these days than on ARMS. Now this is because of how their defenses differ. Fury entire defensive kit is based on healing, while it's only a part of ARMS. Now we're gonna do this a little bit different than usual. We'll take a look at some selected rounds since I will be making some full Soul Shuffle commentaries for Fury, and you can take a look at those for fuel games. First clip, I want to highlight the positioning and choice of CC. The Shaman is in quite a bad position to heal our main target, the Warlock, and I do go ahead and Stormbolt, but using Intimidating Shout should have been my first option here and definitely been the play, since I could follow it up with the Stormbolt from range later. Instead, I had to charge the Shaman later on to fear. Fearing this guy. Trinkets out. Second clip, I want to highlight the strength of Safeguard and some nuances. Here the Warlock ports my Intervene, rendering the cast useless. This is something that you have to keep in mind in the Soul Shuffle environment. Of course, you can see a little bit later on just how strong Intervene is, and it also of course blocks kicks from casters. Stun them. Not trinket that shit, bro. Sticking again with the stun. We have an Intervene soon. Intervene him. Nice. Third for my fallen brothers that have succumbed to the Frost Mage. Peeps, I'm not immune to this abomination of a spec either. And even if you save your mobility, you're guaranteed only so much uptime. Hence, we warriors must play opposite of our nature and actually kite them. I know, ridiculous. Hit the mage. Nah, I'm done being a target dummy. You wanna fight, warrior? Let's do it. We are gonna fight, bro. I'm gonna have the hunter destroy the mage. I'm gonna have the hunter destroy the mage. Go hunter, destroy the mage. Fourth clip keeps in line with the third. Sometimes as a warrior Arms of Fury you gotta get back and try to reset. I know this can be quite unintuitive to a melee player, but you will squeeze out many wins like this. Here it's not me who's forced to back, but I do take a step back as well, not to take too much pressure. Peeps, I hope you've enjoyed another one of my 0 to 1800 guides. Next we will be doing the DH or Rat Paladins, so be on the lookout for that and more Soul Shuffle content. Again, I sincerely hope you enjoyed.